the public that is here this evening, I would suggest that you rip the pages apart and put them side by side so I can orient you to the actual document as opposed to flipping back and forth. What the school district has done is we looked at, and this is just CMT, this is not cap data. The cap data will be out next month for us after the analysis that we do. Once again, in a macro perspective, and then in October, we will present as an administrative team the results, and we will put together the CMT data handbook that we had last year. Very similar process. But what you have before you right now is really a longitudinal look of the performance of the district over time. And let me just orient you to the reading. Grade 3, year 2007. When you look at that box, you should find the number 69.6. That's a percentage of students at or above goal. And then what you do on a diagonal, you follow the color. And what that shows is those students in grade 7, which they will be 8th graders now, in grade 7, what that group of students scored. And then when you look at the second sheet, what you have is the percentage increase. So you don't have to do the math and try to calculate that. So in summary, what you see, and again, this is just orienting you to the document. What you do is you find the color, you look diagonally from left to right, and then the second sheet gives the percentage increase or decrease. And in the second sheet, any percentage decrease is represented in red. And then lastly, from an orientation standpoint, on the 2009 through 11 math, which is representative of grade 3 through 5, our 5th graders just went through investigations for the very, very first time. So of course, one of the filters and one of the lenses that we look at data through is one of program. In addition to curriculum, we look at program, professional development, and instructional strategies. What you see is a 28% increase. We are confident that the program is having a positive impact on students, but we do not attribute that solely to the program. I think, anybody who would be able, I would not feel comfortable saying that because there are many things that go into that. What's equally important to note, and for the board and for the public, is the cohort that just went from 4th grade to 5th grade. They started, when you look at that, that's a 10.6 increase. That's rather significant in 1 year. Again, our teachers are getting better at instructing in the program, and we're doing a better job of integrating the program into the curriculum. So that's just an editorial note. I wanted just to orient everyone to that. General observations from a macro perspective in the area of reading. What you can see and what we have deduced from looking at the data, the longer that students are with us, the more their achievement goes up, and their numbers reflect that. And in October, you'll hear about vertical scales and matched cohorts. I will talk more about that. But in general, our instructional practices, as well as our curriculum and our programs in the area of reading, which are a balanced literacy at the elementary level, and then guided reading in the upper elementaries, and then when they go to a literature base in the middle school, you can see that our students are having success when it comes to responding to literature, text-to-text connections, text-to-self connections. They are having success with that. It's also fair to say that when they start out in grade 3, the first year that they're tested, they don't have a tremendous amount of experience with that. So one would expect children to make gains over time as they start to familiarize themselves with the protocol that they are expected to perform on. But it is also equally important to keep in mind that the protocol itself, meaning the standardized test CMT, becomes gradually more difficult as the students progress. So again, we are pleased with the results that we see, but we should not become complacent. Clearly, we have some variations in that, but when you connect the dots from groups, the line is a steady line increasing. Would we like to see a sharper line of increase? Absolutely. What happens between now in October is that the administrative team will now work with teachers to start to disaggregate the data even further, just to look for general trends, whether it be at the school level or at the grade level. So that's what will happen in the next month or so. And then we're able to present that out as a team in October. In math, you can see that we have a 1.1% decline and a 3.5 decline. I would not consider those remarkable in the same way that I would not consider a 1.1 increase or a 3.5 increase as something rather remarkable. There are variations. We're not doing any regression from the mean. We're not doing any work that a psychometrician would do. That's not the purpose of the test, how we use it. We use it to make an informed decision about our curriculum, our programs, and our professional development and instructional practices. The test itself, just as an editorial comment, and it's important for everyone to keep in mind, it is a criterion reference test. It is not normed. It is criterion reference. What that means is the state sets the standard. And every year, the state increases that standard. And it is to be used as a diagnostic tool so that we can make course corrections. So we're very comfortable where we are right now. But again, in the area of math, this coming year, we will continue to provide the support that we did this past year in grade 5 to our grade 5 teachers. We will continue to support the school with an outside consultant that helps us in the area of investigations to support the integration of that. So it's not one or the other. We're integrating a program. And we've had success with that. And now we get to the area of writing. Writing, for background information, our 4th grade students, our 3rd and 4th grade students are tested on narrative. And then once our students get into 5th and 6th grade, they're expected to do expository writing. Two completely different genres of writing. Two completely different skill sets. And then when they get to 7th and 8th grade, they need to work on a persuasive piece. So writing, there is vacillation in the genre of writing, as well as in their mastery of that. And what I had mentioned to the board previously is that a better indicator, perhaps, and this is, we're yet to actually determine this, is when we get to 10th grade CAP, when students are required now to write across the disciplines in different genres of writing, that may be a better indicator of the progression of writing of our students. But I don't know how many of all of you in the audience have sat down to compose a narrative piece and the work that goes into that, particularly the grammatical work and the punctuation that's involved in a narrative piece. It is taxing, it is trying, and our kids are doing that in grade 3. And with an expository piece where our students are expected to explain something and provide facts that support their explanation, again, that is a challenge for our students where they are. And then lastly, the persuasive piece, our students are expected to take a position with something, support their position, and if you're at the top tier of writing, you will also take a counter position and dispel that counter position in your argument. So it's rather sophisticated. And then again, our students will take that in grade 10 as part of the CAP where now it's integrated. In writing, this past, I think it's, Mary, tell me, is it 2 years writer's workshop that we've been doing?
No, actually last year was the real first year.
Okay.
Writer's workshop.
And we had some teachers that were trained in it, but last year, in my opening letter to the staff, we had indicated that we would focus on writing from a professional development standpoint, and we trained more teachers in writer's workshop. That is a program that helps teachers in the area of instructing writing, which is challenging, which is very, very challenging, particularly when we expect our kids to write in different genres. We will continue to do that, and we hope to, in the future, to see more what I would call even results, as opposed to the vacillation that we see in writing. So in summation, I would say the area of reading, we've made some nice gains, and we hope to continue that. In the area of math, we have some indicators that are now indicating that what we put into place a few years ago is actually starting to take hold. And I did mention this publicly in the past, that the truest indicator of the success of that particular program and the training of our teachers will be in 10th grade. I mean in 9th grade, when our students are taking algebra, and what the percentage is of children actually being successful in algebra in 9th grade, because it's conceptually based. We're a few years away from that group of kids being in 9th grade. And then lastly, in the area of writing, I would tell you of the 3 areas at the elementary level as well as the intermediate school, writing is the area that requires the most attention. But it is also one of the more challenging areas because of the different genres.